First lesson with Jake and Super Bowls, we are going to start off, we're using the dots as stations. At every dot, we will stop and we will put down treats. And then we will move if Jake orients up towards us. So what Cameron is doing currently is she is strongly rewarding. She's giving a high reinforcement for Jake orienting up to her. So in the house with no distractions, we are making sure that Jake's default behaviors look at Cameron and she puts a treat on the dot. This is where we start. She uses the marker find it when he looks at her. So she could also say yes. So if he looks up at her, sometimes she's like yes, and then she says find it, the treat comes on the ground. So when he looks up, the yes marks the moment that he does the right thing. Find it just tells him where to look for the treat. Sometimes I cheat, and when they look at me, I just say find it. Both answers are correct. So we have this really nice history. We could give him a little break and say all done. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna now change the reinforcement. So when he looks at Cameron, she's going to move to the next station. So he looks at her, and then she pauses, and she puts a treat down. Because this way, he looks at her. Sorry, I didn't get that out fast enough. When he looks at her, we're gonna move to the next station. So now we're changing it. Now the food reward comes for walking with Cameron. And when he looks at Cameron, she rewards by walking. Having the stations on the ground, make sure that we all have very clear criteria. We're gonna keep it small. It's gonna be a couple of steps. I really love that you're walking with me. Notice the leash is loose the entire time. His mouth is open, his tail is in thinking mode. And we're gonna go back. Okay, so we're gonna go back down the line of stations. So you can use Tupperware tubs, you can use towels, you can do Tupperware lids, you can put chalk on the ground, you could use Post-it notes. Your job is to find something where you can create stations and you can build a nice, safe, predictable pattern with your dog where you say, hey, if you orient up towards me, we're gonna walk together to the next station. If you walked with me, we're gonna get a treat for walking with me. Yes. Now, our next video will show what happens if in this pattern we set up a distraction, how we handle a distraction. And then we're gonna have another beginner video inside the house with our Super Bowls game, where we also practice doing let's go and we emergency, U-turn and run away. So this is your first step. Get some practice in. You want to drill this behavior so you guys have good fluency as a team, so you both know what to expect when the stations are on the ground.